Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to today's little video about how to actually connect your mind and body. We're going to be going through it step by step like a presentation, and it should be nice and easy to follow. Are you ready? Ready? Let's go. So first, we're going to talk about how does the mind interact with the body. First, you have to know what the mind is. The mind is this place. We don't know if it's inside the body or outside the body, but it's a place where we experience things that we have received from inside our body. So our mind is where we have thoughts or we receive messages from inside our body. Okay? And our body is comprised of our nervous system and all the systems inside. So the nervous system is what controls all the other systems below it. What do I mean by this? I mean that we have lots of wires inside us, and all of these wires go to particular places, and they tell that place or organ what to do. And also that organ will also tell your mind what to do or what to feel from using the wires in the nervous system. Okay, very simply and very basic. So when your mind or when you want to do something, you want to go to the fridge and get a snack, your mind, you're having a thought yourself, and you're telling your nervous system to tell the right things to start working so you can complete this action. Okay, this is, you're asking it to execute a function. Okay, people with ADHD have an issue with executive function, which is a similar thing. The body doesn't necessarily listen to what the mind wants. Okay, why? Because the body and the nervous system always thinks, is it worth it for us to complete this activity? So depending on how good you are at convincing yourself to do tasks which your body really doesn't want to do, you will seem more motivated or disciplined. So your mind will always say, okay, let's go on this 10K run. However, your body will be like, I don't know. Do you really want to spend this energy? I don't think so. I'd rather just do what we did yesterday and sit in front of the TV. Why is this? Because your nervous system will reward your mind with dopamine. Okay? So if you're getting plenty of dopamine doing certain type of activities, then of course your nervous system is not going to give you dopamine doing the other activities. You will seem inherently less motivated to do them because the payout is much less. Okay? This is on a we're going to go into this concept throughout the today, but it's the general intro. So we can actually make this diagram look a bit more schematic, just to make a bit more sense. So the mind is now going to be this cog, and the body systems and the nervous system is going to be a different cog. So how your mind and the systems in your body interact, okay, should be in unison, but it's not, because you both have different agendas. And it's important to know that the mind communicates with the body systems using the nervous system, okay? However, we can separate the mind into the conscious mind and subconscious mind. Well, what's that? Consciousness, or being conscious of something, means you're aware of it. So think of it like this. You don't need to know in your conscious mind and in your day-to-day life what the left kidney is doing compared to the right. Okay? If you had to be on that level of awareness, you would not have time to think, because you'd be thinking about all the systems going on inside you. So your subconscious mind will take care of this. So your subconscious mind and your nervous system will just know what to do. They'll interact with each other and they'll sort it out for you. Unless there's a big pain, or if there's an issue in one of the kidneys, or one of them stops working, or one of the tubes or the vessels get blocked and you experience pain. That will be a strong signal, and that won't be handled by the subconscious. That will be in your conscious mind. So these systems are always interacting. And it's important to know the subconscious mind is the layer between. So now going back to the body systems are controlled by the nervous system, like we said. The nervous system can have two states: the activated state and the deactivated state. Activated state is in yellow, which will make sense later, and the deactivated state is in red. So we can separate these and make it look a little bit nicer on the eye. So your nervous system can either be in a state of activation or deactivation, and that will have a corresponding effect to all the systems inside. So everything below the nervous system will just be doing its own thing based on the message. So this is also what you might have heard of is, this is what we call the fight or flight state, or the rest and digest. Because in the fight or flight state, your nervous system is activating all the systems ready for exercise or running. Whereas in the rest and digest phase, your nervous system is preparing all the other systems to digest food and rest. Okay? This is actually called, all of you guys which have a science background will know this is called the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. Okay? Nice. So going back to our schematic or non-schematic diagram, shall I say. So we can represent this in another way, just to make it a bit more clear. So we said the systems in our body can have two states. Okay? The yellow activated state and the deactivated red state. And this obviously has a corresponding effect on what you're feeling and what you're experiencing in your conscious mind, right? So these are the systems, or some of the systems, not all of them. So your nervous system will have a different effect on each of these systems depending on what state you're in. So for example, in this state, this is a made up schematic diagram. It's not anatomically correct all the time. So the digestive system is in an active state when the nervous system is in this state, which means that it's not actually doing any digesting because you're in the fight or flight state. Whereas the heart system, when it's in the active state, is pumping faster because it thinks you're going to have a fight or run away from something. So how each of them behave is a little different. So the interaction of these and your mind and subconscious mind is something that I'm going to explain now. And as we had the cogs from earlier, we know they interact with the body systems. So it actually looks something more like this. If it switches, yeah. So it looks something a bit more like this. So it's like a 3-tier system: the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the body systems. Okay? So what's the issue now, you're thinking? Okay, you feel bamboozled maybe? Okay, so what's going on here? Why are you having these issues? It's because you think the world is set up in this type of way. You think, oh, it's the 21st century, I got my iPhone, the new iPhone, new phone, everyone's got phones. The civilization is super advanced. However, this is not what your nervous system thinks at all, or your internal systems. Your internal systems have been like this for 200 or 300 million years. It's been a long time. So these changes that have happened in the last 50 or 100 years hasn't had time to adjust. So actually what's going on the internal level is something more like this. It's like Tarzan or King Kong in the New York City. But actually what's going on is it's not even set up like this. It's your nervous system still thinks it's like this from a few tens of thousands of years ago. These evolutionary changes take a long time to take effect. Your nervous system is set up for survival. That means it only cares about surviving till next day, which is why food is the most important thing for your nervous system. So when we know how these interact now, but what we don't know, we haven't spoken about, is how the nervous system rewards us. Okay, it rewards us by giving us dopamine. Okay, so this is when we feel good for completing a task, and this is what controls how motivated you are for a task. Your nervous system will only give so much dopamine per day. Okay, it's not like there's a stockpile to infinity. There's only a certain amount. So these interactions between the subconscious and the body systems are based on how much dopamine your nervous system is giving. So if you look at these food products, for example, sugar, which is the type of food or what is in food, gives a really high dopamine hit. Why? It's because once you've eaten it, because it's sugar, it's like a small granule and the molecule is small, it gets broken down into energy. And your nervous system is like, yes, from the amount you ate, the amount of energy we got from it is high. It's a lot. Which means we can eat this very easily and get a lot of energy. So your nervous system will reward your mind and subconscious mind with dopamine to remind you, hey, this was amazing. Next time you see this, you need to eat this because we got a lot of energy from this. Your nervous system doesn't want to waste time digesting and, eating fiber and all these things. It doesn't care. It wants energy now and when it wants it. Hence why it has like a strategic way to make you remember the foods which are giving you more dopamine, aka more addictive. Because your nervous system likes them. That's it. And coffee as well. Coffee is also something that the nervous system likes. It's like, why would I waste time trying to make energy, make everything work harder when we have a situation? If you can just have this and I'm activated. So coffee is a drug, it is caffeine. So we'll go on to that in a second. Snickers, yep, same old story. Maybe not as much as having a cup of sugar. And of course, reading and studying are more mundane. It's much harder to do these things. If you're getting all your dopamine from sugar and eating like rubbish, of course it's going to be harder to study or read. You're going to have ups and downs and crashes. Okay? So hopefully you're with me so far, but got some bad news. It gets a bit more complicated. So now we have to think about this model a bit, because we have been saying it's the activated state and the deactivated state, which is a bit oversimplified. So when we're trying to take into account the mind and the interactions of others and comparatively people's history in how the nervous system has developed, we can't really use this nervous system model to describe that. So what we have found from the research by Stephen Porges is that the parasympathetic state can be divided into two, okay? And that's based on the fibers and the nucleus of the origin. We can be divided into a ventral parasympathetic state and the dorsal parasympathetic state. So these are two types of relaxed state of your nervous system. One is you're relaxed and connected with things, and the other one is you're relaxed but defeated. So you've kind of been overcome by the task or stress, and you've kind of entered into a state of low, unmotivated depression, can't really be bothered. So we can set this out in a different way. So now let's look at it like this. So it's like a 3-tier model. On the top, we have relaxed but connected. In the middle, we have the go phase, the fight or flight. And at the bottom, we have like the it's too much, like the burnt out state almost. So we can kind of look at it like this. We can change our level of what our nervous system is feeling and what we're feeling in our conscious mind by activating the dopamine system. This is doing things we love. Okay, this is, what do you love doing, If what you love doing is drinking cups and cups of coffee, yes, you're going to go up this scale. However, what you have to realize is there's also a way to come down, okay? Activating the stress system makes us go down. So what we can do is have a cup of coffee and we love it. This is a good feeling. However, for the next 8 or 9 hours, your stress system is going to be activated. Your system will naturally go down into the fight or flight mode because your heart rate is working faster. It'll be much easier for you to experience something in the day and get stressed by it. And this is what we mean when people have a bad relationship with food, because they will use food to become relaxed, or they will use food to actually change state of the nervous system. They use something external to control their internal environment. Okay. And as we said, these are the scientific names for each of these states. So when did all this start? When did your nervous system learn to do what it's doing today, and why can't you change? It's because when all mammals or humans are born, they all have the ability to know all languages and all vocal tones. So then what happens in your first years on the planet, you have a parent. And the parent will send certain signals to you. And these signals will shape how your nervous system behaves for the rest of your life. It can either be from your caregivers or the environment that you're brought up in. You will receive these signals and you will interpret them as signals of safety or not safety. Okay, so when you go into the world, you will have learned these signals. And these signals are transmitted mostly by the facial muscles. So smiling, when you smile, so for example, when I'm smiling now, I'm smiling with this muscle and here, my eyes. Some people smile with their eyes. So if your mum's good at masking emotions or is very pan-faced, you will also have that inherent, because that's how you've been communicated with. There is also voice, which is the voice box, the sound that you hear, which is called the prosody of the voice, is also how you are trained to receive signals of safety. So in doing so, in these receiving these signals, you will learn from your parents, mother or father, which scenarios are dangerous and which are safe. You will learn to adapt to change levels of your nervous system based on these scenarios. And these are done by your eyes, so you will see them, see the facial expressions, you will hear the prosody of the voice, and also physical touch, of course, is also a big part of it. And the result is you will be misbalanced depending on what you have learned from your upbringing of watching parents. So therefore, the key to unraveling all this is to change the habits with the nervous system, and what fuels you to change levels, and what makes you change into the bottom states, and what makes you change to the top states. Thanks for listening.